Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's matters cryptocurrency and blockchain. We've already set the basis of the conversation. But before we do so, quite a number of you are asking then how does one get involved? How does one tap into investing in some of these currencies? Wangeshi, how does one tap into investing in Bitcoin?
This is an interesting one. There are various ways that you can do this. And let me say, for quite a number of people, they are doing so blindly.
Right.
Okay, blindly in the sense that you need to get full information about what is this thing. You might not totally understand what is blockchain and all that stuff. But you need to understand how much can I invest, what periods, because no one can guarantee you. We've talked about volatility. So you can buy Bitcoins, for example, or any other, any other cryptocurrency. You can buy and hold. And over time, as the value goes up, I mean, last 12 months ago, which would take me to January of 2017, Bitcoin was $1,000. Today, it's over 11,000. So it was 100,000. Now it's over 1 million. So about slightly over 1,100% value increment. So you can just buy and hold. But remember, the holding, it's speculative, all right? You can, basically, if you run a business, you can accept it, for settlement, for goods and services.
So buy, hold, and sell, accept it as a form of currency in a business?
Yes, absolutely. If you're a Forex trader, for people who trade Forexes, then they can, Forex, they can basically say, in addition to the currencies that they are trading, they can add these other currencies to it, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whichever, currencies. And you can also mine. People are mining these currencies.
And I think that's the one that we need to understand what mining is. Wangeshi, what is mining? How would you explain mining? And Tilen, I want you to jump also on that in just a few minutes, but let me hear from Wangeshi.
Mining is basically the process of verifying these transactions that are happening within this blockchain system.
Okay.
Now, we are saying that technology today is replacing the third parties that we employ to help us transact.
Right.
So whether it's the banks, the money transfer, or the go-betweens. And so we are saying today we are getting technology to help us still have the transactions. But we still, if for example I draw you a check today, I owe you so much money, 100,000. I get you a check and you take it, you bank it. Tomorrow your banker and my banker will meet at the clearing house. Now, my banker will confirm that I have the funds, and then they will start moving, and I will pay a fee. But I also need to pay you, assuming now we're replacing that check with Bitcoins or Ether or Nuru coin, or we still need to have the same transaction, but there still has to be a verification. So that process of verification, the person now, we're using software to basically verify this transaction. And when the person who owns that software, it's basically like a competition. And so that software that will verify this, and he talked about the blocks of transactions. When the person who owns that software that will verify that transaction is given a reward. A reward of today for Bitcoin is 12.5 Bitcoins. And so basically we say that person has mined those Bitcoins. It's basically new Bitcoins coming into circulation, and in the process, transactions are being verified.
Okay.
In a nutshell, because without getting too much into techie kind of stuff, but maybe Tilen can also add on to that.
I think what at this point what we should tell Kenyans is that anybody who is marketing to you guaranteed returns in a cryptocurrency, chances are high they're going to steal your money.
I need to write that down.
Anybody guaranteeing you returns, run away from them.
Okay. Why?
Because there are no guarantees. And I just don't see how somebody can come to you and give you a legitimate guarantee. So if anybody is giving you a guarantee, I've heard of some clubs, I've heard of some multi-level marketing operations which are guaranteeing Kenyans returns, which are promising people some spectacular returns on their investments because they're investing in some mining operation somewhere. Please run away from those ones. This market is about the future. So that means people still do not know exact value to place on it. And that means we are still having volatile returns. So anybody who is going to guarantee you the future is probably lying to you.
Right.
Then the other thing that Kenyans should probably watch out for, if you want to invest in cryptocurrency today, if you want to invest in blockchain today, if you do not know, if you do not have the ability to analyze the underlying fundamentals that are driving it, please look for some analysts, because we have a number of analysts coming up who are analyzing cryptocurrencies. For instance, if you're talking about Nuru coin being a currency, and a currency being a settlement of transactions, because cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are largely stores of value. Bitcoin is largely, today as we speak, the way it is structured, it acts more like gold. So you store your money there because you're fearing the prospect of war. For instance, what we had in the South Korean peninsula between North and South Korea, people are fearful about war. So people moved and stored a bit of value in Bitcoin. So that also helped to drive up the prices of Bitcoin in South Korea. So today, Bitcoin is largely functioning as a store of value. There are other cryptos which are functioning, or rather which are fashioned more as transaction settlements, like your typical currency, things like Ether and Nuru coin, which is proposed. So there's a number of analysts who are coming up trying to pass the underlying factors which drive these cryptocurrencies. So a smart Kenyan today should probably look for these analysts to help them understand whether they want to invest in a crypto with the promise of to act as a store of value or as a transaction settlement, or to understand the underlying technology, because each crypto, we have more than 1,000 today in the world.
Right.
Each one has its own strong points, its own pros and cons. And the technologies underlying each crypto is slightly different. So if you want to take a gamble on the future, you might want to understand how these things work. So your best bet is probably to talk with market analysts in cryptocurrencies.
And I'm glad Wangeshi said that the issue is that with Kenyans, it's how they go about investing, because there are very many scammers outside there. And like you say, do not listen to anyone who guarantees you. But then again, with my research, is that this www.blockchain.info that allows you to take a look at all the verified members that are involved in blockchain, or rather in Bitcoin. Isaac, what would you say when it comes to Kenyans doing their homework within the digital currency? Because a number of us just hear, oh, Bitcoin, okay, it's a quick rich scheme, and they do not bother doing their research, and they don't bother learning around it and talking to the right people.
I really love what Tilen said about someone guaranteeing you a future is lying to you, because the future, nobody can guarantee you the future. You must participate in creating the future, not me promising the future. And to be part of creating the future, it means that you must be informed. And why Kenyans and a lot of people get robbed in Africa is this big greed for quick fix wealth, where you do not even want to ask the economic activities that are involved. All what you want to hear is, if you buy this Bitcoin or you join this club, eventually what was good is destroyed. Because I'll tell you, a lot of Kenyans are getting involved in cryptocurrencies without, they only want to see what profit. I've seen the questions we are receiving. Someone is asking me, if I put 100,000 shillings in Nuru coin, how much will I be getting per month? I'm not a magician. I do not, make wealth that way. And I'm privileged to have worked in the bank.
Right.
So strictly, you cannot do that abracadabra, and we must create the future and work together. But I want to give you some insights on how to identify how to invest, and especially in ICOs, because ICOs only have
What are ICOs for Kenyans?
Yes. An ICO is initial coin offerings,
right.
and that is where you find alternative coins like Nuru coin coming up. And you've just talked about a blockchain information place.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places where we list, for example, ICOlist.com, topicolist.com, token market, where before an initial coin offering is going to the market, you need to go there. But I want to differentiate between an ICO and IPO. Two very key things. An initial public offering, it's on a company that has been running under strict laws of that country, for example, Capital Markets Authority. And at this time, they are saying, our company has become big, we want to give it to the public to own. Now, and it is regulated within the framework of the government. Initial coin offerings, where we are finding new currencies coming, it's someone who said, I have an idea to build a business, and this idea, if I go to a bank to ask for a loan, I cannot get a loan. But I can raise money globally by giving people to hold a token I might not give you shares to the business, but I can give you a token that is associated with this business. So if that token does not have a business associated with it, then run away from it, because this is someone who just wanting to collect money. So people are just going there and say, buy me a coin, and you are not able to look at what, because the coin is not the issue. The issue is, what is the problem? And globally, when you see now we are opening an ICO, like now saying we are going for Nuru coin, we are not selling cryptocurrency. We are saying we have an idea of solving intra-Africa trade, because the World Bank says that we are trading Africa and Africa at 11% and with Europe at 66%. So what problem are we solving? We are solving a problem to make sure that you can trade easily. And,
across borders.
And then you can hold a token such that if this business, or if by the time we increase the business to 50%, this token will be increasing in value.
In value.
That's it.
And let's touch a little bit slightly on blockchain. We know that our very own ICT Cabinet Secretary Jim Sheru has called on Kenyans who want to come together and form a blockchain association to see how, as a country, we can tap into blockchain, be it for our own education, health sector, etc.
Yes.
Tilen, what do you think is the future of blockchain?
Like I said before, the future of blockchain is very bright. Normally, when you're talking about a financial transaction, you're typically talking about two counterparties, and normally you have somebody coming in between to facilitate movement of value. So if somebody wants to transfer money from a business, say in Mombasa, and the client is in Kisumu, then you need a bank so that they deposit money in a bank. Maybe it is held in a fixed interest account, and then the seller gets it, and then when they deliver the goods, then the money is released to them, sort of an escrow arrangement. So when you talk about blockchain, then you eliminate the need for the middleman, because the bank is now acting as a middleman. And most financial institutions or most financial aggregators tend to act as middlemen. So you find there's transaction fees associated with that. You find there's requirements for KYC and whatnot. But when you're talking about blockchain, then you're saying you eliminate the need for the middleman. And the way you eliminate the middleman is through what we call a smart contract. So a smart contract is basically like your fixed deposit account. So once you fulfill some rules, the software checks that I have supplied to you what I promised to supply, then it releases money on the other end. So because it can do this, you are able to do this on very small value transactions, because typically we use fixed deposit accounts or escrow accounts or through lawyers when you're talking about very large transactions. Maybe you want to sell a building worth 100 billion, so you want to use the services of a lawyer to facilitate that. But you're saying with blockchain, you no longer need to do that. Basically, any transaction, even as small as 10 shillings, because it is a software that is executing it, what you are calling the smart contract. So it can be, the value can be as low as 10 shillings, and it will still be facilitated. And you don't need to trust the other party, because normally when you're transacting with somebody, there's that element of trust. In business, you have to trust the other person in order to do business with them. But you're saying with blockchain, you no longer need to do that. The software will just check that this person can deliver. You have the money to pay for it, and voila, it's done.
Wangeshi, your thoughts on blockchain?
It's unstoppable right now. It's a huge revolution. And like my colleagues here have said, it's now people have been able to separate the currencies, the cryptocurrencies, and the underlying technology. And that is going to be applied. The technology will be applicable across so many sectors. I think we'll be excited, like we mentioned, when, for example, our banks can use, I think right now, most of the financial institutions, what they are sought, they are not only studying blockchain, they are trying to see how do we replicate this technology. Like you mentioned, the Ministry of Lands, that will be a big deal for Kenya, because then the madness that we see, for example, 10 people owning one piece of land, we'll be able to eliminate some of those things. Issues in insurance, when you're talking, whether it's Kenya Power. So it will be, it is the next big, if it is not already, the big thing right now.
Isaac, for you, your closing remarks?
I would really encourage Kenyans and Africans not to be left behind. We are used to coming too way later and becoming slaves again of the same people.
To the system.
To the systems.
Right.
We can say, well, let's be slow and careful on adopting, for example, cryptocurrency. But blockchain technology, when I look, for example, at the coffee and avocados in Kenya, tea, and the elimination of the middleman, who has always been a major problem to the farmers, Africans refusing to accept blockchain would be just killing ourselves.
All right, Wangeshi, let me come back to you. Closing remarks, and then I would love to hear from Tilen.
Let's ride this wave. It's not just a wave, it's the future. Basically, Kenyans get information, get proper information.
Right.
Don't keep asking, have you joined Bitcoin? You cannot join Bitcoin. It's like saying, have I joined Kenyan shilling? You earn Kenyan shilling, or you basically you invested or something. So they need to get proper information. People who are guaranteeing you 1% every day, 1%, do your homework and don't just jump into things blindly. Get people to advise you, people who are trustworthy to guide you. Build a cryptocurrency portfolio. Don't be fixated with Bitcoin. It's not just build a portfolio. And basically, there's a future in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology. Basically.
Tilen, for you, what are your closing remarks?
For me, my closing remarks are blockchain is going to drive business and government transaction going into the future. For those who want to invest in cryptos, I'd advise you to try and look for people who have done research into the cryptocurrency space so that you can get ideas on what is driving these currencies. There are more than 1,000 today. They're still coming up. China even banned the issue of ICOs because there are too many cropping up. So you want to talk to somebody who can be able to give you an opinion on how the future will look with regards to cryptos before you invest your money.
Tilen Omondi, Wangeshi Karaoke, and Isaac Muthui, thank you so much for coming this Sunday morning and really helping us and Kenyans at large understand the whole issue of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in the future and what it means. And thank you also at home for your company this past 2 days here on Weekend Express, and a lot of your feedback from yesterday's conversation to today, this morning. We always appreciate it. My name is Zinzi Kibiku. I'll see you at 1 p.m. for Weekend at 1. Good morning.